Hi, my name is Heather Hanslick, and I'd like to give a brief presentation on coral reefs and people along coastal communities, how they can monitor threats or outbreaks of heat that are putting reefs at risk of bleaching. Coral reefs are uniquely structured, and as they grow, will take on one of three major characteristic styles. They form by free-swimming coral larvae that attach themselves to submerged surfaces along islands or other masses of land. Fringing, as seen in this first frame. Fringing reefs are commonly found along the shore, growing toward the sea. These reefs protect habitats such as mangroves, seagrasses, and salt marshes, and they also protect our shorelines. Barrier reefs are formed, as seen in frame 2, a little bit further out than the fringing reefs, but also along the shoreline. They aid in storm protection for coastlines, but more importantly, provide food for millions of people. Fish and other organisms rely heavily on coral reefs for shelter, food, spawning, and rearing their young. This in turn provides humans with fishing opportunities, resources for medication, and many other economic values. Atoll reefs, as seen beginning to form here, form around islands, and as they sink, you can see this circular structure as the coral has come up, and it has a central lagoon. There are many ecological relationships with interactions that preserve coral reef diversity. Competition between different species of corals, such as elkhorn or staghorn, for example, or butterfly and damselfish competitions. These lead to very diverse reef life. The symbiotic relationship between coral and zooxanthellae is incredible, though. Coral polyps provide compounds needed for photosynthesis, as well as a protective environment for the zooxanthellae in exchange for oxygen, glucose, glycerol, and amino acids, which are all part of the nutrient recycling exchange going on between the two. This relationship is what facilitates the growth and health of the coral reefs. Predation keeps reefs healthy by decimating weak and sick animals. This attracts a slew of small predators around reefs, and we can't leave out the grazing herbivores. They are incredible because they keep the competitive algae in check. If the algae grows out of control, it can smother and kill the reefs. Coral bleaching takes place when coral polyps expel the zooxanthellae that live in their tissue. The coral produces reactive oxygen species as temperature rise, and this is toxic to the coral. As the coral loses its color without the zooxanthellae, its white calcium carbonate skeleton is revealed, as you can see here. Degree heating weeks are calculated by accumulating temperature readings that are more than 1 degree Celsius over the historical maximum temperature for a given location. A degree heating week will show how much stress has accumulated in an area for 3 months by adding up any temperature exceeding the bleaching threshold during that time. The NOAA has a coral reef watch program that uses satellites to relay constant data to the public. And you can see that here. This is really an incredible program. And this was taken yesterday evening. And you can see the variations, the scale of temperature, and where all of that is taking place at this time. So here is the web address for the Coral Reef Watch. And let's take a closer look here. So heat stress begins at the watch level. And you can see here we have no data, no stress, watch, warning, alert level 1, and alert level 2. And around South America, right here, it's just really, really bad. It's significantly worse at levels 1 and 2. than it is at watch and warning. However, there is heat stress beginning just at the watch. So at level 1, the degree heating is greater or equal to 4, but less than 8. And significant coral bleaching is likely. But when you get to level 2, the degree heating week is greater than or equal to 8, with severe bleaching and significant mortality is likely. So locations where people are dependent on coral reefs are the same as those that are likely to have damage from climate and ocean change. So we're going to take a look at that. As you can see right here, this is called the Coral Triangle, and 75% of the world's coral live here, with nearly 600 different species, thousands of different reef fish, and over 120 million people live in this triangle as well and rely on these reefs to sustain their lives. I hope that you have enjoyed this presentation, and check out the NOAA's website. Here are my references, and I thank you so much for your time.